major economic power. A country should be the major economic power. A country should be the major economic power, and the country should be a good military power. And this is the second point. You have to write down in the point for the final exam in the final examination, right? So these are the thing. This is the page number. This is the page number 89, in which I told you about the major economic power. Page number 89. It should be the major economic power and a major military power, a substantial contributor to the UN budget, a big nation in terms of population, a nation that respects democracy and human rights, a country that would make the council more representative of the world's diversity in terms of geography and economic system. So these were the aspects on which a country could be the major part. This is the answer. It is in your screen also. A major economic part, then a substantial military part, right? And they should have contributed in a UN budget. I'm telling you again because this part is very important. It's a 5 marks question. Mind it. How a member, how country, new country could be the member, and how India could say that it is it is positive to be the member of the UNO, United Nations Organization. So we have got six, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points in which I told you about the membership, so that there should be no any other problem. But the problems are there. Always problems are there to be the member, and I will discuss this today also, that what are the other problems also to be the member. So and here is the IAEA, which I told you yesterday, that is the International Atomic Energy Agency, was established in 1957, and it is in the box that was Atoms for Peace, which I told you yesterday. Just I'm recapturing it, whatever I have done yesterday, so that you should not wash off from your mind. So, what India wants to be the member of UNO. India wants to be the member of UNO, and above all, it wants to be the member of Security Council. It wants to be the member of Security Council, having the power of veto power, having the veto power. So, despite India's wish to be the permanent veto wielding member of the UN, you want to be the permanent veto power member of the UN. Look now, one thing. Till you have got the veto power, till all other countries recognize you as you are the active member of UN, and above all, you have a same say as other 5 nations. आपकी भी उतनी ही वोटिंग है जितनी दूसरे दूसरे कंट्रीज की है. आपके पास वीटो पावर भी है. तो इससे क्या होगा? इंडिया विल बी अ वेरी strong country in the world arena. But it's not so easy. So it's just like, take it a very active person, but there are many other person who have some jealousy on that particular person, right? So jealousy के कारण से दूसरे countries जो है, just see India's neighboring aspect, neighboring countries. You look China. It's having a veto power, right? And it's a very strong economic power. Fine. Then Pakistan is there. Both these two countries are not very much friendly. These are the, you can say that sometimes they behave like an enemy. They oppose any part, whatever, any stand of India. They always oppose. And this Pakistan always oppose India in UNO also, right? So Despite India's wish to be a member veto wielding part of the UN, some countries question its incursion. What do you mean by incursion? कुछ कंट्रीज जो है हमारे इस incursion को इंडिया के यूएनओ में वीटो पावर के आने को सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल में परमानेंट मेंबर पे के बनने को you know what they will do, they will always oppose us, right? Some countries question its incursion. Neighboring Pakistan, just I told you, neighboring Pakistan, with which India had troubled relations. Neighboring Pakistan has is having they have always from since 1947. You know, yesterday was 26/11, 26/11. What happened? Right, Mumbai attack. Mumbai was attacked. Many people, more than 130 people were killed. So it's every day. It's every day. They're creating trouble for India. So neighboring Pakistan is there, with which India has troubled relation, is not the only country that is reluctant to see India become a permanent veto member. ये पार्ट नंबर पॉइंट नंबर वन, इसके आगे पॉइंट नंबर वन लगा लो कि सबसे पहले तो पाकिस्तान और दूसरी नेबरिंग कंट्रीज नहीं चाहेंगी कि इंडिया शुड बी अ परमानेंट मेंबर ऑफ यूएनओ, राइट? They don't want that India should be the permanent member of UN. Fine. Which India has a trouble and see India to be a permanent member of the Security Council. Some countries, for instance, are concerned about India's nuclear weapons capabilities. Many countries. They say India is having a nuclear capability. India is having a nuclear arsenal. They will they can use it against any other country. They will say like this. So इंडिया शुड नॉट बी adopted as a permanent member of Security Council. क्योंकि इंडिया के पास न्यूक्लियर वेपन है, इंडिया किसी के अगेंस्ट न्यूक्लियर वॉर शुरू कर सकता है, इवन पाकिस्तान के अगेंस्ट, बेसिकली पाकिस्तान के अगेंस्ट या दूसरी छोटी कंट्रीज के अगेंस्ट इट कैन स्टार्ट, right? So they will put a question mark on India's incursion in UN. So this is another step. First, I this is the second question which I am telling you very important in this chapter. Right, very important 5 marks question. In every page, they are important. There is importance when this Security Council and UN and other parts is coming. So in the contemporary world politics, which whatever the chapters are there, every part, every aspect, and every page has its own question. So be careful. So I gave you 2 questions today. First of all, that why India should be a member of UN, which I gave you, right? 5 or 6 points. Now, second point is what are the difficulties? Write down if always have the pen and pencil along with you whenever you are having the class session, live class session. So, anywhere. Now, second question is there. The second question is what are the difficulties before India to be the permanent member of UN? What are the difficulties? So I gave the first difficulty that India, say many countries, they will put a question mark on us because India is having a nuclear capability. Then uh, troubled relations. We have got the troubled relations with the neighboring countries, right? So second is other thing that it's difficult with Pakistan will make India ineffective as a permanent member. Pakistan's relation with India or India's relation with Pakistan, it's a great difficulty. India will face a great difficulty, which India will face to be the member, to be the permanent member of UN. Right. Yet others feel that if India is included, then other emerging powers will have to be accommodated. Look, look. यदि इंडिया को इंक्लूड कर लिया गया, फिर other countries are also there. Other countries. This is there, right? Other countries are also there that they will also say that we want to be the member of permanent member of UN. So Yet others feel that if India is included, then other emerging powers will have to be accommodated, such as Brazil and Germany. Such as Brazil and Germany, Japan is also there. So Brazil, Germany, Japan, and other countries are also there. That they will say that they want to be also the permanent member of UN. They are emerging power, emerging economic power. They are good military power. They also contribute in UNO and in financial and other financial activities. So they said, what is our fault? That why aren't we be the member of permanent member of UNO? So aspect is that perhaps even South Africa, whom they oppose, they also feel that they want to be the member. There are those and must be represented in any expansion of the permanent membership, since those are the only continent not to have representation in the present structure. ये वो continent है, right? जिनको they don't have any representation in UN. They will say that every continent should have its own representation, and if a country is very important, that particular country should be the member of UN Security Council. If India is being included as a permanent member of UN, then other countries and other continents also will put a question mark on on the UNO, that are why they are not be the permanent member of UN. If India could be there, why not we? So these are the typical typical problems. Given this concern, it may not be very easy or anyone else to become a permanent member of the UN in near future. It's a question for you. Explain why it not be very easy to India or anyone else to become a permanent member of the UN in the near future. इसको विस्तृत रूप से बताइए कि इंडिया को क्या डिफिकल्टीज हैं परमानेंट मेंबर बनने के लिए यूएनओ के अंदर क्या डिफिकल्टीज इंडिया फेस करेगी सो it's a second question. And another part is, so I told you about the difficulties and all, and now is the UN in a unipolar world. Among the concern about the reform and the restructuring of the UN has been hope for some countries that changes could help the UN cope better with the unipolar world in which the US was the most powerful country without any serious rivals. Unipolar word means basically bipolar and unipolar. Though or unipolar is one, basically. In the whole universe, USA, earlier it was a balance of power. Let me tell you one thing. It's a balance of power. So in the balance of power, what happens? The two countries are there, right? Earlier, Eastern Europe country was there, America was there. In Eastern Europe, in Eastern Europe, USSR was there, and in Western part, USA was there, United States was there. So they were two superpowers, means USSR and US. Now, after the disintegration of USSR, I told you 15 new countries, new republics were born. So that particular status, which USSR was, Soviet Sangh, Soviet Sangh was, enjoying the status which Soviet Sangh was enjoying with contemporary of United States. It is gone क्योंकि उसके तो टुकड़े हो गए उसके कई पार्ट्स हो गए कई नए देश बन गए तो that structure of superpower is missing from Eastern Europe represented by Soviet Sangh. So it's aloof now, it's cut off. तो क्या कौन से बचा? Only United States बचा. Only United States बचा. So United States is now behaving like a super cop of the world. It's a behaving like a super cop of the world. So, so among the concerns about the reforms and the restructuring of the UN has been the hope of some countries that changes could help the UN cope better with the unipolar world in which the US was most powerful country without any serious rivals. पहले एक ही राइवल था उनका यूएस का सोवियत संघ वो सोवियत संघ तो खत्म हो गया राइट नाउ नो सीरियस राइवल्स अमेरिका के समक्ष कोई भी नहीं है एज अ सुपर पावर कैन द यूएन सर्व एज अ बैलेंस अगेंस्ट द यूएस डोमिनेंस what I told you there's a balance of power if the balance is there then everything will be okay when we are imbalanced then their problem starts in the life also when we are all when we are facing balance then it's okay the life goes very smooth but when we are imbalanced in any affair the problem starts maybe serious problem starts now so they have to be maintain some balance so now new countries they say that yes us can now think about the balance and the un also can think us can help much better to the un because now us has no serious rivals हिंदी में है ना हम ही हमें तो क्या गम है so us thinks like this us behaves like a super cop so can the UN serve as a balance against the US dominance? क्या यूएन जो है कोई काम कर सकता है कुछ ऐसे इंडिकेशन दे सकता है कि देयर कुड बी द सम बैलेंस ऑफ ऑफ यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका can it help maintain a dialogue between the rest of the world and the US and prevent America from doing whatever it wants? I told what I told you. It's behaving like a super cop. It's behaving like a super cop. तो क्या यूएन ऐसा कुछ काम कर सकता है कि बैलेंस ऑफ पावर को क्रिएट करने के बाद कि यूएसए को रोका जाए इट कैन स्टॉप द यूएस यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका टू टू डू वॉट एवर इट वॉन्ट्स टू डू जो भी काम चाहता है वो कर देता है राइट फॉर एग्जाम्पल आप कहेंगे कैसे मैं आपको वो एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ अमेरिका bombarded carpet bombarded on Iraq. UN not sanctioned this. UN didn't sanction this. That you should behave like you should behave and start war with Iraq. Moreover, Iraq's president Saddam Hussein was hanged by the US armed forces in support with the Iraqi forces. US helped them to hang Saddam Hussein. UNO strongly condemned it. Many parts of the world, many nations, many head of the nation strongly condemned it. And they should not do it. But UNO, USA behaved like a super cop. For example, Libya, Colonel Gaddafi, he was killed. There was a coup with the support of America. What happened? UNO was helpless because now also 22 to 25% contribution is given by the Americans in the UN. So UNO still is helpless to counter USA, to counter USA, and to create a balance of power. That's why third world country says that there should be some country to check USA to stop USA whatever it wants to do, it should not do. वो जो करना चाहता है उसको करने से रोकने के लिए there should be balance of power. Understood? Okay. Now, so can it help maintain a dialogue between the rest of the world and the US and prevent America from doing whatever it wants to do? Now, US power US power cannot be easily checked. Now it's a question for you. 1 mark, 2 mark question, short question answers, short question. Why US power cannot be checked? यूएसए के पार को क्यों चेक नहीं किया जा सकता, क्यों काउंटर नहीं किया जा सकता? ये आपका अनदर क्वेश्चन फॉर 2 marks also. It could be 3 marks also, and it could be 5 marks also. It can enhance as much as you can. You can write a book on this particular topic. Why USA cannot be stopped? Easily check. Right. First of all, with the I told you just now, with the disappearance of the Soviet Union, US stand as only superpower. सबसे पहले तो ये है कि US power cannot be easily checked because with the disappearance of the Soviet Union, the US stands as the only superpower. Allow it ignore, allow it ignore the UN or any other international organization. Right? So I told you that USA openly ignored the United Nations organization. And few months back when the COVID-19 was there, this America condemned the World Health Organization. Condemn, I said, the World Health Organization. So US is doing whatever it wants to do. Nobody is doing that to check because it's now behaving like a superpower, super cop. Nobody is there to counter. No one country is there to counter. Its economic power is one of the best. Its military power, is America's military power. Right. So is the second part. Secondly, within the UN, the influence of the US is considerable. Within the UN, यूएनओ के एरिया के अंदर, यूएनओ के सर्कल के अंदर यूएस का जो इन्फ्लुएंस है अनशैडोड है. इसको कोई शैडो नहीं कर पाया, इसको कोई रोक नहीं पाया. ये यूएस इज एट द टॉप. सो सेकेंडली, within the UN, the influence of the US is considerable as an is a single contributor, single largest contributor to the UN, single largest contributor to the UN, means economically and militarily also. Whenever UNO wants its help from the US, US is ready, as India is always ready. Secondly, within the UN, the influence of the US is considerable as a single largest contributor to the UN, and the US has unmatched financial power. Unmatched financial power. इसके financial power को कोई match नहीं कर पाया अब तक. Right? The fact that UN is physically located within the US territory, देखो ये एक बहुत बड़ा point है. You get ready with your pencil, and I'm putting it on the screen, your mobile screen also. Right? That the fact that UN is physically located, fact is UN is physically located within the US territory. gives Washington additional source of influence. जितनी भी यूएनओ के हेड अदर ब्रांचेस के हेडक्वार्टर्स हैं, राइट, एवरीथिंग इज इन अमेरिका, बेसिकली सब यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स में सिचुएटेड है, सब यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स में सिचुएटेड है, सो इसके टेरिटरी में है। तो जिसके टेरिटरी में यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स का यूएनओ का हेडक्वार्टर है, एंड हुज टेरिटरी, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स टेरिटरी, अमेरिका की टेरिटरी है, where the UNO is headquarter is there. यूएनओ के जितने भी दूसरे ब्रांचेस के हेडक्वार्टर्स जो हैं, यूएनओ के इसकी टेरिटरी में है। सो विद इन दिस टेरिटरी गिव्स वॉशिंगटन जो है उसको एक सोर्स ऑफ इन्फ्लुएंस देता है। द यूएस ऑल्सो हैज मेनी नेशनल्स इन द यूएन ब्यूरोक्रेसी। ये थर्ड पॉइंट है, इसको भी आप यू कैन डिफाइन इट पॉइंट वाइज। lot of other countries nationalists who are working in UNO, they are stationed in US, वो यूएस में बैठ के काम करते हैं। The US also has many nationals in the UN bureaucracy. In addition, with this veto power, the US can stop any move that it finds annoying or damaging to its interest or the interest of its friends and allies. USA अपने कंट्री में बैठकर, अपनी जगह पे बैठकर, अपने सिचुएशन के अंदर बैठकर, इवन आई मस्ट से प्रिसाइसली वॉशिंगटन में बैठकर यूएनओ के किसी भी मूव को वो रोक सकता है। नॉट डायरेक्टली बट इनडायरेक्टली, यस, इट हैज लॉट ऑफ इन्फ्लुएंस। डायरेक्टली ऑल्सो major source of power, a territory in the US, it can influence, the UNO. Lot of nationals, they are working. Other nationals are working in the United States of America. The UN also has many nationals in the UN bureaucracy. In addition, with this veto power, the US can stop any move that it finds enjoying, annoying, or damaging to its interests or the interests of its friends and allies. Allies. The power of the US and its veto within the organization also ensure that Washington has considerable degree of say in the choice of Secretary General of the UN. What it says indirectly, US can directly approach to the Secretary General of UN. Secretary General of UN, it can directly approach to it. The US can and does use this power to split the rest of the world. अब यूएस क्या करता है कि डिवाइड एंड रूल पॉलिसी को भी एक्सेप्ट करता है। इट वाज गिवन बाय द ब्रिटिशर्स, डिवाइड एंड रूल। यू डिवाइड एनी कंट्री एंड रूल द कंट्री। इट हैपेंड इन इंडिया, and the same criteria is adopted by the US to show its supremacy, in the United Nations, to show its supremacy in the United Nations. It divides the world. It doesn't want that the whole world should unite and it should annoy US. It should come against US. No, it doesn't. No country wants it. Not only US, nobody will want it. No country will want that any country should be against of any other country. So US also want it. So वो क्या करता है कि दूसरी कंट्री से इकट्ठी ना हो जाए यूएस के अगेंस्ट, तो वो डिवाइड एंड रूल पॉलिसी वो स्प्लिट कर देता है। बिकॉज Major contributor in the financial activity in the UN is USA. Major contributor. So it has lot of say, lot of power. It uses many times its veto power. It has direct approach towards Secretary General of Security, Secretary General of UN. Right. So this is the US can and does or does. It said it does. ये करता है ऐसा. Use this power to split the rest of the world and to reduce opposition to its policies. इसके जितनी भी पॉलिसीज बनती है उसको अपोज करने के लिए उसको उसको कोई अपोज ना कर सके. दूसरे देशों की जो पॉलिसीज बनती है तो उसको तो यूएस से अपोज करता है, पर इसकी पॉलिसीज को यूएनओ में कोई अपोज ना कर सके. व्हाट इट डज, it used to do, it split the world. इस वर्ड को स्प्लिट कर देता है और पार को भी स्प्लिट, दूसरे देशों के पार को तोड़ देता है. The UN is not therefore a great balance to the US. So the US is therefore is not therefore a balance to the UN. यूएनओ जो है यूएस का बैलेंस क्रिएट नहीं कर पाया अब तक. लीग ऑफ नेशन भी नहीं कर पाया था. लेट मी टेल यू वन थिंग. लीग ऑफ नेशन कहाँ रोक पाया था यूएनओ को when it was able to stop the control the first world war or stop the second world war. No, not at all. So the UNO is not therefore a great balance to the US. Nevertheless, in a unipolar world in which US is dominant, बार बार वो ये sentence वर्ल्ड को ये जो है डोमिनेट करता है. Right. The UN can and has served to bring the US and the rest of the world into a discussion over various issues. तो कभी कभी क्या होता है? What do you mean by this? This has a lot of meaning. It means कभी कभी यूएस से एक तरफ और सारा वर्ल्ड एक तरफ. Right. Then also US has its own say. यूएस से अपनी बात कह जाता है. यदि सारा वर्ल्ड एक तरफ हो जाए ना तब भी कहा जाता है कि यूएनओ जो सॉरी यूएस जो है ऐसा सुपर पावर बिकॉज इट डिवाइडेड द वर्ल्ड. द वर्ल्ड कैन नॉट बी यूनाइट टुगेदर अगेंस्ट द यूएस. Euro, why another here I want to discuss one issue, very important issue with you. Why euro was launched? Euro एक करेंसी है. इसको लॉन्च क्यों किया गया था? यूएसए का जो डॉलर है इसको काउंटर करने के लिए. ओके, कुछ हद तक इन सम अप टू सम एक्सटेंट यूरो वाज सक्सेसफुल टू to be dominated by the US dollar. But let me tell you one thing. Still, it is said the dollar has its own reputation.